This video will be about the hardware setup around the Carvera Air and the things I could have known and set up before I got it, and also just useful tips, so it might save you a bit of money or time. One thing I've done is to set up an air vent, like easy detachable strips. I'll go more into details about this. Another is a tool wall I set up, and then you don't need the tablet, and I'll go into details why. And another thing I will go through is alternatives to material, to learning to use it, so you don't have to waste the nice pieces you have gotten from Carvera, but also you don't have to waste a lot of money just to learn how to operate settings and learn with waste rather than with wasting your money. So I made a few things. I thought I'd just show them, a little bit of carving out name, cheap material, nothing fancy, but it went quite fine. Used a Carvera Cam 2. And here I also took a lace from a cat, but you see it has some artifacts around it. This is because of the hair. I'll go into details about this a bit later. When I got it, I was so eager to try the laser before I had a proper ventilation system. So I tried it out. Few issues with that. It smelled bad. It was not nice to breathe, but I also got these smudges inside of the Carvera case, which is not nice. And when I tried to remove them with some paper and some isopropyl alcohol, I got scratches. So learn from me. Don't use it without having a ventilated area. Everyone tells you that. I guess I had to learn it from myself. It's not too bad, the scratches, but it's just good to know so you don't clean it with a fiber cloth, not a rough paper towel. One of the most important things is I made like an attachment for the back plate of the Carvera. And with this, it's easy to connect and disconnect any hose you connect to it. It also makes you able to fasten the air intake of it, and also the outtake. You can use a strip to fasten it, which I really liked. I also use the screw holes on the Carvera that's already there. I don't know if they recommend it, but it was quite useful to properly attach the whole thing. And if you need the file, please let me know. From there, I went to my extraction of the fiber bits, but I also went for the exhaust of the gases to the outside. I used an old server fan, which I made a setup for, which I could put into the wall. And I just used a vacuum hose to connect it to the Carvera. As you can see, the electronics for the air venting system is quite bad. I see this as a nice first PCB project to do with the Carvera Air. My goal will be to be able to control it remotely. I replaced one of the windows in my cellar with some wood and isolation, and then I could just put a hole through that, and with that I can exhaust it as I want. I also added a lid to it so that I can block off air getting in. It's minus 10 degrees Celsius here now, so that's quite cold. I think that's 5 Fahrenheit. And on the outside I put up a type of vent, which when it blows from the inside out, it goes out, and if it blows from the outside, it pushes in. In this way I kind of reduce the air in and out when it's cold. This is not needed if you're in a warm area, but when you're in a cold area and you want to keep the heat in, it was quite nice. This was the laser exhaust, but to get the wood chips out, I printed out a cyclone dust extractor, and then I attached a hose to one end, which I attached into the Carvera, and then to the other end I got a vacuum for free someone was throwing out. This will not be the best setup, but it will be quite cheap and it will be good enough. I attached a cyclone dust collector to a fertilizer bucket I had lying around, an empty one, and then I took another one of the same type and put that inside with some wood to kind of build up the strength, and it works really well. So in that way I fixed the dust collection, like the wood chips collection, and the air extraction, which is the most important thing. And if you were to prioritize one thing, I would recommend the vaporized laser material out, because it's bad to breathe. It makes your machine ugly. Nothing good about that. You can always vacuum out the wood chips later. The cyclone extractor is not mine, but if you want anything of this, just let me know in the comments and I'll post it. I wanted to gather all the tools for the Carvera place. So, and I had a lot of the multi-grid lying around, so I thought, hey, I'll give it a go, and I just found things that fit. So now I have all the Carvera stuff on one wall, which is really neat. I also made a tool holder for the Carvera Air. On the Carvera you have this nice tool holder where it says like 1 to X, but I also wanted something similar, because then you can set up your job beforehand. You go into your cam, you say like this is tool 1, 2, 3, and then you can set it up so that the quick change becomes even quicker. You don't have to find the bits or remember the bit. You set it up with the job and then it's ready. The next thing I want to talk about is various test materials. And on the screen here you can see on the back it's just a pull string material. You get the Carvera Air in, and then on top is just on cheap MDF plate, and then the other one is on waste wood, and then on top you see like a coaster, and all of these are fairly cheap, if not free. Also, the name plate was just made on some wood, which is throwaway wood from department stores, because they separate other planks with this thin wooden plate, so you can get, where I live at least, get as much as you want for free. So that's really convenient. And then my cat was just printed on a box. I bought some dates and figs. You will do mistakes, at least I. This is my first CNC. I've 3D printed a lot, but there will be a lot of mistakes. So it's nice to do it without any cost, or at least reduce the cost. I've had an issue with the glue and the magnets, both on the dust shroud and the shroud for the laser. I don't know what exactly the issue has been, but it seems like the glue has loosened from the magnet. On the dust shroud, this caused an issue where it fell up and got eaten up by the bits. So now it doesn't work properly. I contacted Makera about this issue, and they responded that they will be sending a replacement without any hassle or arguing, which I appreciate. I've contacted them for a few things, a question here and there, and I've been very happy with their customer service. Things like this is not good. They should have the glue in order, but at least they did the best of it and just sent you a new one for free. I would almost recommend that you apply another set of glue to it, or it might just be mine. Another issue I've had is that I sometimes forget to put the dust cap on. I wish there was a possibility where I could pause it and move it to home or something, and then I could place the dust cap on. That is possible so far, at least as far as I know. What I've done to compensate for this is to place the shroud over my bits. So when I move from the probe to the bits, it's clear that I have to put on the shroud first. I use the Makera cam. It's good enough for 2D stuff. It works fine, but there's some issue, but it's still a beta. But what I will talk a little bit about is the control software. You're under the impression you need your own device to control it. I found the most ideal workflow is that I just connect it from my main computer, which I don't move. And then I upload the file from there, I start the project from there, and then it runs. Because the Carvera Air is its own device. It doesn't need anything to run. It just needs an interface. That's what you're doing. You're giving it an interface where you can manage the files, upload the files, tell it to start. It doesn't have that capability, but once it runs, once you've started the project, you can disconnect it. It has its brain of its own. So I upload the file, I start the project, and then it tells me to add the probe. Well, then I go down and change the probe on the Carvera Air. And then it has a very nice button on the Carvera Air. You can confirm you've changed the tool, so you don't really need the computer afterwards. And since I have my tool holder that says 1 to 7, and the Carvera can indicate which tool you have, you don't really need the PC once the job has started. Of course, if you want to look at the progress, it will be good. But then you can just go back to your computer and look at the progress from there. It's more convenient anyway, even if you're not in the same room. The only reason I can see it's an advantage to have it close by is that you can pause it maybe easier. You don't have to stop it. Because you can, right now, you can't stop immediately the Carvera Air if it does something bad, but you can't immediately pause it on the machine. But what you can also do is just start the project here, disconnect, connect on your phone or something, and then continue from there, and then go up again, disconnect from your phone, connect back with your PC. So I set up a webcam. I was looking around to what would be the best to do this, and there was a lot of solutions, but I've done a lot of 3D printing, so I just decided to just use Octoprint with a virtual printer. That way I can remotely view it and I can make time lapses. And there's also a really good infrastructure around to print, so now I can from my phone. I still haven't set up a proper thing to make time lapses. It's more for monitoring. And here is the thing I printed. It really turned out well when I use an image, because you see those artifacts around my cat. It's the hair. Also made a picture of my niece. And you see on the bottom one, there's more than one issue on the bottom one, but you see that there's some artifacts there. And that's because there was like one hair strain here and there, and it didn't really know what to do with it. So I just went with paint and just drew white around it. And that kind of fixed the issue. On the bottom one, I used too high power, if you're wondering why it's really black. And on the top one, I used too low power. It's just a dialing in process. So that's it. If there's anything you want me to post from this video, like more details or some files or some better explanation, please let me know, or else we'll see you next time.